Brought to you by our sponsors: William Richmond Inc., Farmers Home and Auto Insurance, the Bobkowski Agency, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, McNeil's Group Properties, Chesapeake's Bounty, Buddy Lee Landscaping and Contracting, LLC, Chesapeake Plastics, the Charleston Senior Community, and R.E. Graves Heating and Air Conditioning. Now, here's a weather alert update from JB Weather.
And hello everyone, I'm Forecaster John Bordash with you in the Storm Center right now, giving you the latest update on what we're talking about. Our winter storm, for the most part, is winding down now, and we can kind of get into just looking at everything. I'm going to take you right inside radar here in 1 second. I didn't totally get this all loaded before we got started here. I think it's all good to go now. There we go. All right, so this is kind of what we're looking at right now. Not much is going on. I mean, we have some scattered snow and sleet showers up to the north, but that's pretty much it. And let me make sure I have the pen tool here ready to go at my disposal for when I need it. Locally here, and these are temperatures, we're sitting at about 30 or so on over towards Leonardtown, 33 at Pax River, 36 down towards St. Mary's City. And everything kind of moved out of here around 12 o'clock, right around where we said it would. And we are seeing this additional moisture. And I want to move this out of the way, but I do want to get this ready. And before I do so, let me make sure I'll just turn temperatures off quick so we get a better look. This area here, this needs to come through the region tonight. So that's kind of like the next thing we're tracking. This will generally come into our region this evening, probably sometime after about 8 o'clock or so. And this will give us an additional amount of freezing rain. Temperatures here locally will be down around freezing. However, temperatures above our heads are still going to be warm. Kind of the same setup we've been talking about all day. So as this comes into our region, I would say anytime after 8 p.m. is fair game. It might not be that early, but anytime after 8 is really fair game. Once this comes through, we'll talk about additional ice accumulations being possible. And we can time that out right now, actually. So let's bring it back in here. Let's take off radar. Let's turn on our model data. I was looking over some of the latest wind gusts, and actually, I might still have this loaded up in this program. I do. This is a look at current wind gusts. We'll get to Futurecast here in 1 second, but a current look at wind gusts. Right now, I mean, people are saying that they're seeing like crazy winds, and there's a lot of like tree branches breaking, and maybe that's true, but these wind gusts to me aren't that impressive. I mean, we have wind gusts between about 10 and 20 miles an hour, which is pretty typical for our region on a normal day. I know we've seen some ice, so it doesn't help matters at all, but I believe the current outage map shows about not 10, but I think it's like 100 people or so. What I want to do, and I don't have that tab open up, that's fine. But right now, I mean, we have some power outages out there. We don't have a lot, though. And I know if you're one of the ones that have a power outage, you would think that, well, yeah, we have lots of power outages. And when I put this graphic up, people are like, well, we've already seen power outages. Like, what are you talking about, unlikely and isolated? But I think at our maximum today, SMECO was only reporting about 600 outages. Granted, they were all clustered in one area in southern Calvert County and parts of southern St. Mary's County. But in the grand scheme of things, for SMECO covers like hundreds of thousands of people, that 600, I think, definitely warrants more of an isolated ranking than a scattered or a widespread outage. And that's kind of what we're seeing right now. You might not have power at the moment, but there aren't many people do still have their power. And if you don't have your power right now, it probably won't be off all evening, I would assume. I mean, they've been pretty good, SMECO has been today, about getting things taken care of. But again, coming back here, again, these aren't crazy wind gust numbers to me. I mean, SMECO got to again, we're talking 900 out of 100,000. I mean, but I mean, again, these wind gusts, I mean, they're not crazy. I mean, down here and these are actual buoys here. I mean, these numbers here out over the water. I mean, so on the water, you're gusting up to 20, 24. And maybe immediate bayside locations, you're gusting closer to, maybe close to 20, but. And again, I know we've seen freezing rain today. Trust me, I'm a weather forecaster. I know what freezing rain and winds do. However, we don't typically talk about huge issues with 10 to 20 10 to 20 mile an hour gusts. I'm not discounting that you're seeing issues though, but that is why I am not all that impressed or all that worried about the power outage threat this evening, because A, Smuggler was pretty good about just keeping the lights on in general, but B, if we were talking wind gusts between 20 and 30 miles an hour, we'd be talking about bigger issues, but this is more of a 10 to 20 mile an hour type situation we have right now. So again, some isolated power outages are possible. I don't think that they're going to be the main story this evening though. Coming back over here, so this is this. I want to come over here. Let's get you to Futurecast. Right now, again, not much is going on. As you push this forward, though, this is going to take you... I want to get over towards our high-resolution model. This updates every hour. So let's see. This is 4 o'clock. As you head over towards 5, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. We begin to see these showers, these sleet and freezing rain showers move back in as we head over towards 7, 8, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, now even midnight. Not much going on, but again, as we go on through the night, you will see, oh, here comes some freezing rain now. This is going to be closer to just about 1 or 2 in the morning. We see this additional area of freezing rain and sleet begin to move in. And this kind of becomes a little bit more widespread as we head forward here. You see it continues to stream in from the south. This is getting towards 5 a.m. now, getting close to 6 and 7 and 8 o'clock in the morning. So this is why, again, we've been talking about issues are going to be likely as you head into tomorrow even. I mean, we'll look at that freezing rain threat, eventually try to come to an end tomorrow morning, tapering off probably by about 10 o'clock or so. And those temperatures sitting right around freezing will lead to travel disruptions that will remain. So I think even tomorrow morning you're talking about issues that are going to be likely. So I wouldn't expect too much going on with school, with businesses, and just with travel in general tomorrow. Tomorrow evening will be a tad better because it'll be a little warmer, allow for some melting. We won't have precip falling from the sky, which is all good news, but tomorrow morning some issues. Tonight we're going to be looking at some issues as well, and you all, I'm sure, can already confirm that. So that's kind of the main story, that's kind of like the main timeline we're running with right now. My ice forecast from last night showed this, and something else I do want to note is that the National Weather Service at about, I think it was 1 o'clock, at 1 o'clock, once the precip shut off, upgraded Coward and St. Mary's counties to winter storm warnings. Then at that point, it very much confused me because it was after, I mean, as you see, we'll have an additional area freezing that moves in overnight, but it's poor messaging, poor communication. It's not a good look. Again, I don't try to be, I don't know, I've been doing this, I guess, a lot lately, and I guess I'm being known now for being a grouch and calling out meteorologists and stuff, but, I'm going to give it to you all straight when that doesn't make sense to me, and I'm sure a lot of other meteorologists and weather forecasters can tell you that same thing. But we are looking at winter storm warnings in effect for Calvert, Charles, St. Mary's, King George, Westmoreland, winter weather advisories elsewhere, and it's because of this ice threat. I mean, up to a third of an inch of ice is possible for much of the region. Against more coastal locations, it's probably more like between 1/10 and 2/10 of an inch, and then locally higher amounts possible as well. So it's kind of the story we're talking about right now. Not much is going on right now at this moment. Winds are a little gusty. I'm even hesitant to use that word. I mean, they're present, but focus on Monday. I don't think Monday's a thing. And I don't know about political statements. I think that might actually, again, I try not to get political here on the Facebook page. So, not that I favor one side. I mean, I have my own political opinions and beliefs. This isn't the venue, though, for me to talk about those, and nor do I care about what yours are. I care that you get a forecast from me. So, Samantha wants to know if there's going to be more ice tonight. Yes. You can scroll down the Facebook page, because that's where the vast majority you are, and you can even see over on Twitter and then over on Instagram as well at JB Weather. I have updates on that, but yeah, we'll see additional areas of freezing rain overnight tonight, and a little bit of sleet as well, leading to some ice accumulation. So do keep that in mind. But yeah, so that's kind of what we're talking about. So for the next 6 hours or so, there might not be much. I mean, again, some scattered snow and sleet showers, but that's what we're talking about. Heather wants to know what I think winds are going to do. Again, everyone wants to talk about the winds. Maybe I'm in a whole other world. Again, I'm not in Southern Maryland, so I can't tell you for sure what's going on. But I'll load up Futurecast here, and actually, I will just use this version quickly. Here we go. Let's take you over to the winds. So generally, and as this, I think I need to use this version. I need to use the NAM. So where you see these like whites and grays, again, these are very lackluster in terms of, it's generally under about 10 miles an hour, about under 10 miles an hour. These blues here kind of represent like 10 to 15 mile an hour. Again, these are more sustained winds than gusts, but it gives you an idea. Again, it's really just coastal locations that are looking at some gustier winds. Yeah, of course, Lenore. I wouldn't even say I've even ventured into political waters. I just state facts about science, and even that gets political with people. So yeah, I'm not gonna wade into actual politicians and my opinions on them. But as you move forward here, you're not looking at. And yeah, Kelly, they did put us under a winter storm warning. It's real. I don't want to call it stupid, but it's real weird. But as you move forward here, going into tomorrow morning, the winds aren't necessarily that high. And I know that there aren't numbers on here, but the general story is you see these whites and grays, they're lackluster. They're under 10 to 15 miles an hour. So again, some gusty winds are possible, and we're seeing that right now. But in a lot of our weather reporting stations, there are 2 right now reporting wind gusts. And if we just look at wind, wind in general, you have that. So, according to my mom, the winds are going crazy as well. Again, that's what you kind of have to worry about with ice. So, power outages, sure, they're possible. I don't think they're too likely, though. And again, wind gusts are possible as well. I'm not in Southern Maryland, though, right now, so I can't tell you for sure what's going on. But just be aware. You all can let me know about the winds, but just be aware. You hear the wind, then you know that you're going to be talking about, of course, some ice falling off the trees or whatever. So just use caution. It's another reason you just want to stay inside. There's no reason to be going out and about tonight. But that's, for the most part, all I really have for you. There isn't much to report on right now. We have a little bit of wind. We have the threat of freezing rain tonight. Carol wants to know about noontime for Prince Frederick tomorrow. We can quickly touch back on that. Yeah, and I see Laura's saying power outages here in Lesby. Even still, they're very sporadic. I'll bring it up on my phone quickly. To see kind of what we're looking at, because I don't have it up on my computer, and I don't feel like kind of going through all of that, because then I have to rearrange my setup, which is never fun. Let's see. Outages. Let's see what SMECO's reporting. And you all can see this information as well. You just go to the SMECO website. Yeah, right now there are 9 active outages, and there are 187 customers out of 168,000. So I think that warrants me saying that power outages are a little isolated. Granted, they've all kind of been concentrated in southern Calvert County and Lesby, but just because someone says the Ranch Club is without power, the Chesapeake Ranch estates are huge. So, yeah, and even Jeffrey, he's in Lesby and still has power. So, again, you might not have power at the moment, but we're not talking about widespread power outages with this. And a little bit, and even Kelly saying the wind isn't too bad. Gust, but not steady wind in Hollywood. So that's really the story here. I guess it really just depends on where you are with this. You'll have the highest wind gust probably right up along coastal locations, right up along the bay, and probably right up along the Potomac River. But those areas typically see higher wind gusts. So if you're close. 0.01% of Southern Maryland is out of power. Exactly. So, but this is kind of what we're talking about. Just know that these are possible. Even the power outage line I have as a darker green than a lighter green for the next couple of hours. So just do keep that in mind. Temperatures stick around freezing as we head into the overnight hours. And we're going to be talking about that leading to, even if we don't see additional freezing rain, any melting that's happened today, everything's going to refreeze and cause more issues. But then we will see additional areas of freezing rain moving overnight tonight going into tomorrow. So do keep that in mind. But again, that's all I pretty much have for you right now. I just sound like a broken record at this point. I'm probably going to get a little bit of sleep here, and then maybe eat some dinner, and then we'll probably talk again sometime this evening and kind of catch everything up with where things are right now. So stay tuned. I will continue to keep you updated here from the Storm Center on what I'm tracking, what the latest information is, and I will keep you one step ahead of the storm. Thank you so much for joining me.